welcome to the Fandom Zone. Once again, it's General Zod, here with a review on Child's Play. And I did one with Perp Minded. You can see the spoiler slash non-spoiler review, the first half being non-spoilers, the second being spoilers. But let me just talk on my review. And I'm going to break it down simply. Most people won't like this film if they're a Chucky purist, okay? They like the old, possessed, evil, and just downright rambunctious Chucky. And okay, I understand that perspective. But as a supervillain, I respect this new Chucky. This new Chucky to me is glorious. This new Chucky is Zod approved. Now, this is a non-spoiler because this movie's still fresh, but I will say this. It takes a different turn with Chucky being non-demonically possessed, and instead, it is AI-based. What makes this scary to me is this Chucky personifies a purely learnt slash kind of evilish behavior, okay? But he's not just evil. Chucky and Andy's relationship is highlighted because you feel a real pull and tug towards these characters. And I have to say, it is a glorious thing to behold. The two characters, they really mirror each other in their loneliness of being the only ones of their kind. And there's something so strikingly haunting when about the third act things happen the way they happen. Because it feels like an organic relationship that's taken a terrible turn for the worse. Now, some people didn't like the whole AI aspect, and I say if you're going to do a reboot, then reboot it right. And I know certain people will see my review and they'll disagree with it, but personally, Zod does not care. I am telling you how I feel from my perspective as someone who has seen all of these horrendous reboots and retrends being done. And why do I call them a retrend? Because they do something we've already seen while disrespecting the source material. But if you claim to be a true Chucky fan, you will recognize callbacks. There are callbacks from Child's Play 2, from the very first Child's Play, and from Child's Play 3. The trilogy, if you will, before the abysmal Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and every other Chucky that they tried to milk the cash cow for. And I personally enjoy the fact that they wanted to do something different. But yet, when people ask for something different, they don't like it. They get in a tizzy about it. And you know what? You can't have it both ways. Either you want a remake that's like the original or slightly different, or you want a complete copy and paste. You cannot have it both ways. It's ridiculous. With that being said, for the new generation that hasn't watched it, I would wholeheartedly suggest you watch the original, watch this one, and then you can choose for yourself which one you like. Keep in mind, everyone says, oh, they went the technology route. Well, each Chucky was socially relevant for its time. During the 80s, there were a lot of things with serial killers and a fear of people who were human yet doing inhuman things. That was a thing. You had Michael Myers, you had Freddy Krueger, you had the Leprechaun, and you had Chucky. Those were your big four. And each of them scared in their own way, and each of them dropped off drastically. Now, some of them made a comeback, but some of them fell in the annals of time. Chucky, to me, was always goofy when I grew up because a 4-foot doll terrorized people. And I don't care what you say, there were only a few scenes that made sense to how he got the drop on people. in particular in Child's Play 1 with the dude who was an accountant that he ended up in his car and he strangled him with wire. That made sense to me. He legitly positioned himself in a good place. This movie brilliantly gives Chucky the ability to corner his prey and make it easier and more believable as to how people would be in the situation they're in, where in a lot of horror movies it makes no sense. This to me made a lot of sense. Imagine something that could happen where there's a doll that is connected to your Wi-Fi. It makes sense. It makes complete and total sense to the current state of things that we are in. And you know what? We just sometimes need to be happy with the product if it is a good and endearing, trying to do its best product. We should give credit where credit is due. And that's what I'm doing with this review. And there's so much to get into, but I can't without spoiling it. So I say this. If you are a fan of horror, and especially horror dealing with the technological age, then this movie will be for you. If you're a fan of the old school doll possessed by mad serial killer and kind of ridiculous shenanigans that occurred, then you'll be a fan of the first. And I'm not saying this as a person who's not a fan of the originals. I love 1, 2, and 3. They are some of my favorite horror movies of all time. But I say give this a chance. Don't go in necessarily as a fan of the franchise, but go in as a fan of Chucky who wants to see a new and unique take. And you may enjoy this film. Until then, thank you very much for this Fandom Zone review. And as always, humans, remember, Earthlings around the world prepare to kneel before Zod. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the Fandom Zone.